Hello and welcome to the God is a Geek podcast. My name is Adam Cook and I am here joined by some wonderful, wonderful people. And I'm not stalling because there's technical difficulties in any way, okay? Because I can hear myself for some reason. Chris Hyde, how are you?
Good, mate. Yes, I'm very well. How are you?
Good. Yes, I'm not bad, mate. Thank you.
I'm a lot cooler. I don't mean like the fond's cool. I mean like it was roasting the last couple of weeks. So I'm really glad that it's just cooled down a little bit now. So it's comfortable podding weather. I think.
Returning. I mean, is one of you got a phone on or something? Because I can hear because I can hear Chris. It's not Chris White, is it? Is it Chris White's phone feeding back to us?
My phone's over there.
Oh, Chris,
What
it's
do you
not you.
blame me for?
I mean, I have my phone on silent. I've just turned it off. Has it made a difference?
No.
How
are you, Chris White?
Oh, pretty shit.
Well, we know we're getting honesty with Mr. White, don't we?
I'm all right. I'm good. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm peeling.
Oh, would
I'm
you say you
sleepy.
were appealing?
I'm always appealing, yeah. No, my skin is falling off my other skin.
Oh.
And I'm just a bit of a mess, but happy to be here.
It's like gold member.
I am.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
It is actually like that. I'm putting like 2 square-inch pieces of skin off me.
Oh. Okay.
That's how bad it is. You can see
that's
why
an
I'm
image I
annoyed.
want in my head.
I'll give you a better image.
Please don't.
Got to keep it PG.
Yeah, family friendly for at least the first 5 minutes.
Can you guys hear yourselves back, or is it just me?
No,
mate, it's just you.
It's just you.
That's really great. I wonder if our audience can hear everything twice as well.
No idea. Please tell us.
Please tell us in the chat. This is the strangest intro to a
Please
pod
tell
ever.
us if you can hear everyone twice, or Adam twice, or if everything sounds fine.
It would just pause for effect.
Yeah.
This is a cracking start to the pod.
He's saying it's all good.
Oh, great. This is going to be real fun then. Cool. So let's get started.
You hear everyone twice, or just you?
Oh, no, I can hear everyone speaking twice with a delay on everyone's voice.
Oh, super.
So that's great fun. So you start us off, Chris Hyde, with what you've been playing this week, and I'll try and sort this mess out.
Okay, so one of the games I've been playing this week is the Ascent, which Mick has reviewed on the site. So definitely go and check out Mick's review on godisageek.com. And for those that don't know what it is, it's out now on Game Pass, and it's a top-down isometric twin-stick shooter set in sort of a dystopian, futuristic, industrial setting. And basically, like I say, go around shooting. A lot of it's set up in like quests with bosses and NPCs and stuff. And you can play either solo or you can play co-op online, right? So you can either take on the adventure on your own or online. Co-ops, the gameplay on the co-op's fine. You just have to do the opening tutorial, and once you're in the main sort of hub area, you can join online with friends. I read Mick's review earlier when it went up, and I do say I agree with a lot of what he said. Although I think my overall impression of it is maybe slightly adverse to his, although I agree with all of his pluses and minuses. What I will say from the start, this game is a stunning looking game. The attention to detail in the world as you're moving around it looks really pretty. So when you're moving around shooting the hell out of stuff, the backgrounds and everything, it just looks really nice. The lighting's really good, even for a really kind of dark setting. The lighting looks really nice, and it does sort of feel like a lot of the effort has been put in that side, and that's, for a small team, that's really commendable. But it does feel like some of the gameplay aspects and how the game ends up playing out, there's a couple of missteps which cause quite a bit of frustration when I've been playing.
A couple.
What's that?
A couple.
A couple, yeah. Right? Okay,
no, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm being trying to be positive.
Look, it's what we need to say before we get any further. This game is made by a team of 12 people.
It is,
and I think when
is...
you see the game in action, you're like, really? Because it is.
Yeah.
Like, if I just click this button and people are seeing the game, that looks like, wow, 12 people
it's
made
stunning
that?
For 12
it
people.
is so good
yeah,
looking.
It really is.
Unfortunately for me, I feel like I wish... Look, I said this in our Discord, and I'm going to say it again here. I think of games like this, and I think of Diablo 2, Diablo 3, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
What I remember about those games is how they play.
Yeah.
Not how they look. Like, Diablo 2 is getting a remake, or re-up, and Diablo 3 was a fine-looking game, but like, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, Diablo 3 looked amazing, but it plays incredibly.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, like, I find myself when I'm thinking about the Ascent, even when I'm playing it, when I'm reflecting back on it, I almost remember the gameplay first and the visual second, even though the visuals look so nice. Let me just give examples of the gameplay frustrations. First off, there seems to be significant difficulty spikes even within missions, and I don't mean just you get to a boss and the boss is really hard. You can go on a mission that's got a boss fight in it, and even on the way to the mission, the difficulty can sometimes just ramp up. Just randomly, you're just surrounded by more enemies than normal, or they're of a higher level. And there does, whilst you can see the level of enemies, and you obviously know your own level, so you can use that as a pretty good comparison. Sometimes the placement of some of those higher groups of enemies is on the route that you need to take for a mission. And that happened when I played with Adam, but when I played it solo as well.
So as I understand it, there's no scaling in co-op either, which may have been the problems we were having.
But we were still. This is the thing.
We were both at the same point, really. Actually,
we were both at the same point, and this is what I was going to come on to say. Every main quest and the side mission has a recommended level. So it says to you, this is the recommended level. So you can look at the main mission and go, yeah, I'm at that level, so I'm going to carry on with the story. Or actually, no, I need to go and do some side missions. Right. So it's fairly open about that. It's pretty obvious. You can look that up. I found there was this side mission that was literally I got near the start of the game. It went recommended level 2. Right, I was like, great. Well, I'm like level 3 or 4 or something. I am overpowered for this, and it's the lower than the main mission. I was like, right, let's just go and do this, get some XP, whatever. Might find some loot. Let's do it. Couple of things happened on that lovely journey. First off, the game has a good, because the maps are very confusing. I'll be honest. If you look at the map, it's very confusing to figure out where you are. But it does have this little mechanic where you press up on the D-pad and it literally carves out a path for you and says, go this way if you want to carry on with the mission, right? Which is really handy because the world is huge and a lot of it looks very similar because it's quite dark and stuff. So having that is really handy. But I went on this mission, this level 2 mission, and it took me miles out. I was like, okay, I don't know where I'm going. And it took me through loads of groups of higher powered enemies than level 2. Some of them I could deal with because I was like, let's say level 4 or 5. Some of them I was like skirting around some level 10s or whatever. Just, don't want to die. And then I kid you not, I got to what I think is a lift, and it said, yeah, go in the lift. And I couldn't go in the lift. I don't know if I need to unlock more of the game to go in the lift, but it literally, the game had said, you're level 2, you can do this, go here to do it. And I couldn't do it. And I was like, right, I've come all this way, past enemies that are clearly higher level than me, and I now can't carry on the mission. So now I've got to come all the way back to where all the direction where all the other missions are. And that for me, it just kind of, it summed up some of the frustrations I find that I'm having with the game, because I felt like I'm having to work harder to enjoy it than I should.
I think the weird thing is if you just looked at it, I was as you were speaking, I'm seeing the live feed as well. I'm looking at the game and I'm going, look, that looks great. God, that looks like the sort of thing I want to play. And I think that that's the thing for me. One of the issues I had was that, like, when you start out and playing co-op together, you kind of look the same, ish, give or take the color, as you can see on the screen. But also, unless there's some UI-wise we didn't have on, I didn't know it was you half the time, and I kept thinking I was shooting an enemy. And oh no, it's my mates. And on top of that, like the cold hard fact for me is that, like, I don't hate it. Like, I should say, I don't hate it. I actually think there's something here, but I don't think it is very fun. And on top of that, like, I feel like the leveling system's particularly confusing. Like, there's just no impact Like it almost feels like you're leveling up because that's just what games do nowadays. It doesn't feel impactful to me.
Yeah, I found. Yeah, just on the leveling up piece, I found that the only really useful thing to level up was just give me some more health.
Yeah,
I found like some of the other ones. And the one where you get more, is it energy? The other one, the blue bar to use your like special. Those two literally, so I can either take more damage or use that special more frequently. They were the only two because the others felt very niche in terms of what they do.
It knows what it wants to be, really. Like it feels like it's trying to do everything that anyone who's ever made a game in that genre.
Yeah.
It's trying to be a twin-stick shooter. Like the thing I was talking to Mick about it. The thing that reminded me most of was like, do you remember on the PlayStation 1 a game called Loaded and Reloaded that had like Pop Will Eat Itself on the? I mean, Chris White might because he plays games, but
it rings a
Chris
bell.
You remember them? Like it had Pop Will Eat Itself on the soundtrack, and I think it was a launch PS1 game, Loaded, and then Reloaded was the sequel. It kind of reminds me of that, but also like with way more added. And it almost feels a victim of this thing where games can't just come out and be like, yeah, we're just a twin-stick shooter. Because it's like, well, what do you mean you're just a twin-stick shooter? Where's the RPG mechanics? Well, we didn't want to do... No. Okay, fine. So, where's the co-op? We didn't do... Oh, shit. Okay, all right. Okay, where's
the random loot? Where are the side missions?
Where's the loot? Okay, where's the side missions? Where's the massive open world NPCs and stuff that you're just walking through and not really... you're not really engaging with, and like where's the shops that are just miles away from everything and kind of I don't know.
I think so. There's a couple of other things. I do think unless the storytelling gets better,
which
I'll be honest, I haven't played hours and hours, but because I bounced off it, if I'm honest with you, but
big time.
I feel like it's one of those games that does that thing where it just goes. Here's a load of random lore references of things that we're not going to explain to you.
And it's also making up words, and a bit like Biomutant did, where it's just making things up and kind of and I'm sure it will explain them, but like it's kind of, it wants you to understand and buy into its lore before you have any idea of what it's going on about.
Yeah, and I feel like
an issue,
and it does it so frequently with every side quest. I'm just like, but I don't understand what I'm doing.
Can't tell me to. You can't get me to engage in this if you don't give me some kind of information as to what it is.
I think a couple of times we did a couple of missions, and you were like, "So what's going on?"
Yeah, so what are we doing here? Shooting people.
So shooting people essentially. I think it's what the other thing that Mick mentioned, which I did experience when I was more in co-op with you, is like some slowdown and stuff when you try and use your big abilities, or sometimes when you're just doing like shotgun fire and it's hitting a lot of enemies, like the big things. If you're just shooting your pistol, it's fine. But I did find that quite a few times.
I didn't have any issues technically that I can recall, aside from the very first time we tried to play it, just wouldn't connect us. But that's like, that could just be an internet thing. I don't want to spend like the whole pod on this game because I don't hate it. I feel like it's a game I'd quite like to watch, but I just... I mean, it's Game Pass. Play it yourself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate to say that.
No, but I mean,
there's like a friend of mine who has a phrase for games like this, and it's not my phrase, and I take no credit for it, and I don't. It's not very nice. Game Pass fodder, like there
will be people that it is. There will be people.
Someone
that
will love this. Like, there have been reviews that are eights and stuff, but like. I don't know. I like these kind of games, but like the loot is particularly uninteresting to me. The story, I could not. I just couldn't. It just wasn't. It was too cyberpunk. It was that cyberpunk thing. We're going to throw all these words and phrases at you, and you either know them or you don't. And we might have made some of them up, but you won't be sure until later. And there's this culture of this is the oppressor and you're the oppressor. And it's just. I don't know. Like I would never sit here and go, it is a bad video game, because it's not a bad video game. It doesn't, like, it's not like it does anything hugely egregious. It just, for me, doesn't feel right. I'm playing it. I tried mouse and keyboard. That's the footage was in. I tried it on a controller. Neither way felt right. They both felt slightly off. I don't know.
Sounds like the Ascent. Am I right, deadbeat?
Well, it's quite funny that he says that, because when I went to edit Mick's review, he put it a bit behind the scenes sort of stuff. He'd put it in the site CMS, Content Management System, and he'd accidentally written the Ascent as the name, and I had to say to him that you really need to make sure you not only change that, but also because the URL will read the Ascent otherwise.
Yeah, of course.
And it was a genuine mistake, but I don't know. That's harsh. It's not an ass game. It's not. It's not. Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's a bad game.
No, it just didn't grab me. I wasn't like, I'm really excited to play this. I want to see more of it. There was just a few things all rolled up together which put me off a little bit. It wasn't terrible, and like I said, it looks stunning. It's made by 12 people. Like
I just wish it maybe looked less as good.
Same.
And that time had been spent. I mean, that's not how it works. That's not how you have an art director or whatever. But there is another game we've been playing co-op.
Yes.
Which I think we've played more of in co-op.
We have definitely played more of this in co-op. Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to go in, but I'll go in.
No, mate. This is I was a bit alarmed by the sound of like what I thought was a wolf. When we're talking about Tribes of Midgard,
my bitch in the other room.
Yeah, well, you have to fight wolves and stuff in Tribes of Midgard.
You do, yes.
What?
Yeah. So,
that was weird.
Product placement, but so Tribes of Midgard. So, this is a I guess survival RPG type game.
This is another game that does a lot and has kind of everything.
It does try and do a lot, and in places it feels like it gets it really right. In other places, I feel like it doesn't, and I think it'd be a really interesting conversation. So yeah, basically, what Tribes of Midgard, you basically you've got a central village which you ultimately need to protect. There's a tree, a seed of Yggdrasil in the middle that you've got to protect.
Is that how you say that?
Yeah, I think so. Yggdrasil.
I thought it was Yggdrasil.
What did I say?
Yggdrasil. It's a really small one, but I wasn't being like, what do you call it? I don't know. It was a genuine.
I got Yggdrasil from Tales of Symphonia. Where
I reckon Chris Hyde would know.
It's the world tree.
It's the world tree, yeah.
So what is it? Yggdrasil or Yggdrasil?
I've always called it Yggdrasil.
That's fine, Yggdrasil.
It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Potato.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyway, you
have a vote.
The Tree of Life.
Anyway, so protecting the Tree of Life, the world tree in your village, right? And what happens is it's a day and night cycle, and every night these hatchling enemies come and try and basically attack your seed. Once it's, I know, sorry, I did think attack your seed, and they do damage. They do damage to it, and then if damage reaches 0, it's game over, right? That's essentially the gameplay loop. So what you're doing during the day is you're gathering resources to either level up kind of your weapons and armor to make you stronger, or to level up your town. You can put in gates and arrow towers and things, and you can even level up. You can kind of level up like potions and things to keep your health up, or level up kind of your axes and pickaxes to help gather materials quicker and things like that. So that's the gameplay loop. You're kind of going out and doing hunter gathering. There's also kind of enemy camps which you can kind of raid and get loot from as well. And you try and do that during the day, and then in the nighttime you go and protect your camp. What also is happening whilst that's going on is after a couple of days, this chock-off motherfucker's going to come and slowly walk towards your base, your camp, if you like, called a Jotun. I think I'm pronouncing that right, from my Norse mythology, and that it basically will appear on the map, and it will take a little while, a couple of days maybe, to slowly walk through the map and the paths on the map towards your village. And basically, if it gets to your village, it will then absolutely annihilate the seed in the middle of town. So the idea is, whilst you're also doing the day-night loop, you're also going to have to go and attack this Jotun as it's slowly walking towards your base, because if it gets there, you're pretty much game over. So you've got a few things to kind of keep juggling, because you want to make sure you're gathering enough materials to build up your village and yourself, but you don't spend too much time doing that, because otherwise, if you're doing that at night, your village is going to get attacked and die. Or if you don't kill this Jotun soon enough, you're going to lose. So it's a lot of times it's thinking, what's the priority now, and what should I do? And the reason that's important is that's why this game, for me personally, and maybe this is a bit controversial, I don't think this game works as well in single player as it does in multiplayer. Because what you tend to find is whilst things are scaled up for multiplayer, like enemies have more health and things like that, the gameplay loop of fetching, and foraging and for things takes quite a while to do. And to build up the resources just on your own takes a long time. And so what you find is it can be very hard, particularly because each map is randomized. So all the camps are in different places. Everything's randomized. You don't know necessarily where you have to go. So a lot of it is exploring by trial and error. And you've only got a certain few hours where you have to come back in the nighttime to protect. So I find this game is a lot harder and almost people say get good, but almost impossible to beat on your own because
no, it's not impossible. It's not balanced.
No, that it's imbalanced. And maybe I'm using the wrong language, but I think it's very imbalanced for solo. I know the game's designed for multiplayer, and that's important to remember. This game is.
But the thing is if you're going to allow people to play a game single player, whilst also saying, really, this is for up to 10 people, and the more of you there are, the more organised you can be, then the game needs to be balanced in a way that it's...
Yeah.
And there are ways... So look, my feelings on this game are that I actually think there's something here. Like, there's a lot of games in this genre. I mean, it apes a lot of genres. What I do feel is that this game feels like it's early access, and it isn't. And it should have been. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't mean it in a mean way because I like the game, but I feel like if it was early access, the feedback that people, and it's not just us, the feedback that is being given to this game could be taken, rolled into it, and eventually, but it's out on PS5 or 4 or whichever PlayStation it's on as well. And it just isn't balanced in a way that... So it's a roguelike in two different senses. It's a roguelike in that in the game, you die and you lose your souls. But that's all you lose. You have there's a box like a lot of games do where you can go and collect all your stuff back, but not your souls. That seems completely arbitrary when everything costs souls. Even to heal your tree, you need souls. So to take the one currency that matters and say, for some reason you don't get them back, is weird, right? On top of that, the overall progression is not enough. We have played 5 hours at least just co-op together, not including our own single player. I'd say maybe 6 hours of co-op together, actually. Yeah. And there are 8 classes, I think, in this game. Yeah. We have seen 2 of them. They are the 2 you have at the start of the game when you first play it. The method for unlocking these other classes, which sound interesting, by the way, are too steep. And on top of that, the skill trees are too small. So that there is only there's warrior and there's like an archer at the moment. And the warrior, the skill tree is such a you don't start out with magic and stuff. So you go, right, I'll upgrade my sword to 10% extra damage, and I'll spec in the way that I can get that auto revive rather than having to be revived by a friend. So you do the same skill tree every single run. Yeah, and I did try the other one, and there's some interesting stuff in there, like you can arrows as you're bouncing away, so you're getting away from them. But generally speaking, there is not enough progression in this game. You choose whether you start with a weapon or with your foraging tools, and you do one and I do the other. It doesn't make a difference because I have to then go and forage to get the tools to be able to forage more. You have to forage to be able to get the stuff to be able to make the weapons. There's a huge lack of progression to the point where we finally felt like we were getting somewhere. Like we got our record. Yeah. We killed a Jotun. We defended, and then it just basically ganked us. Like there was, and the same thing happened. You actually had a moment where I think your PC rebooted itself for some reason, and it dropped you out of the game. And you've got a newish PC, and you were back into it within 5 minutes. Yeah. And in that 5 minutes, there was a night. I should have saved and quit, but I didn't really realise it was going to happen. There was a nighttime scene, and suddenly this new enemy I'd never seen came before, and it just destroyed you in one go. Game over. Yeah. And there is a risk-reward mechanic. When you beat one Jotun, you can actually kind of finish. You can complete it and gain XP. So there's that on top of all of the sort of roguelike stuff.
It feels like playing solo versus just playing with you. You can tell that it's so much more beneficial to play with people, and clearly the game is the way the game works and it's designed. No, I know. I guess the idea is you party up with randomers, I guess, is the principle. But
I wouldn't want to play a game like this with randomers.
No, I wouldn't.
I think be able to say, look, the 5 of us are going to go out and forage, right? or the 5 of us are going to go and deal with this frost giant, and the 5 of you are never going to leave the village further than 5 minutes, so you can stay there and protect it every single night. But the way they scale it is basically if you're playing on your own, to kill a frost giant or a wind giant or any of the Jotuns, you're like, it's got 50,000 health. Add Chris into my game, now it's got 75,000 health. Add another one, and that's all they do, so it doesn't vary up any attack patterns.
No.
It just goes, they're harder to kill now. And that's
that's
another thing that needs addressing.
Yeah, I feel like with single player, I feel like you just feel like I've just got no time to do everything. Whereas
because the more you can't be in two places at once.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, to be really clear, this game, if there was like 5 of us all playing together, I think we'd have a really good time with it.
I don't know that I think a couple of nights would be as much as you get out of it because the progression is so.
But I think it depends. I think I'd like to try it because I think we probably would progress more than me and you have in the same time. There's probably more chance of us surviving more nights or whatever. But I think the other thing I do want to call out, which I'm still not a fan of, is the sort of pay to win unlock stuff.
There's some really weird stuff in here. Really weird.
There's currencies that you can earn through leveling up, right? You get XP every time you finish, whether you're successful or not. When you get a game over, however way you've got that, you get XP for your character. So you level up, and there's rewards every time you level up, right? It's fairly standard and that sort of thing. And sometimes with a level up, you'll get some of this currency, right? So it's not that you can't ever get it, but some of it you can then buy more from the shop. It's in-game currency. Yeah. But this currency, these 2 currencies, you use them to either get cosmetics or actually to unlock things in the game, like recipes of weapons.
And on top of that, the thing that we don't know because the game's only just out. What concerned me is that down the bottom there, it looks like some of those things rotate in and out.
Yes,
it reminded me of Knockout City, where you can spend it for cosmetics that will, if you don't buy it today, it's gone and it will come back eventually. But we're talking the Villager Axe level 3 here that you literally cannot have to upgrade in this game unless you buy it, which you can grind for, but
it just feels,
it's not a free to play game. There shouldn't be items that you have to pay for.
Yeah, it feels like it's on when you add everything together. It feels harder to enjoy it than it should.
I should say I did enjoy the time I have spent with it.
Yes.
But unless there's some sort of balance changes or unless there's some tweaks go into it, I don't think I'm going to go back to it because I don't want to play this game with randoms. I appreciate, Chris, I would like to get you involved and perhaps even we could do a stream of it and almost like a one more hurrah. Let's see if we can get this working because I feel like 3 is at the minimum almost that you need because you do need someone who is reasonably close to the base. You can teleport back to it, but then it's like, but I was doing... It's kind of like, do you remember Dead Rising 2 or Far Cry 2 as well, I think it was? Far Cry 2 had the malaria mechanic where you had to stop what you were doing to inject yourself to not die. Dead Rising 2, I think it was, you had to get the Zombrex for your daughter because she would turn. And it was like, no matter what you're doing, unless you want game over, stop it and go and address this. And I don't know a game that I can think of right now where that's ever been a fun thing. Because what that's saying is, we've created all this stuff for you, and you're having fun with it. Stop it. Stop having the fun that you're making or creating or whatever it is you're enjoying. Because presumably by doing that, you're enjoying that part of it. Stop it. Come and do this thing we're making you do. And I can't think of a game that successfully pulls that off.
Every time it comes up with...
You push just a little bit further on the map.
Yeah.
You just get that little bit further on the map where you're like, oh, this looks like, there's new enemies there. Oh, the hedging's about... Okay, well, forget that. And by the time you've got rid of them, you've got to repair all your village stuff. You've got to maybe repair your own gear. Like, the penalty for it all... And it's not like I'm saying we ignored it. At one point, we had all of our defences maxed out, and it wasn't enough. The village cannot defend itself. You have to go back there, which is why it's 10-player, I think, because...
Yeah.
But every time I felt like we were just pushing the map out a bit further, it's like, okay, we're gonna get new stuff. We're gonna get a bit. Oh, okay, no, sorry, got to go back. We will, there'll be a review of it on the site. Mix reviewing that. Be interested to see where he lands on it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, very interested. I guess, Mr. White. What the hell have you been up to? And I mean that in a nice way.
Well, what haven't I been up to would be a better question to ask.
No. What have you been up to?
Okay, I'll answer that.
Because that could be a lot.
So game-wise,
Yes.
I just wanted to touch on a few games before
You can touch whatever you want, mate.
the big boy. So Lemnis Gate on PC. There was a beta recently. There was we got hands on before them. Thank you very much.
Ooh, get us.
But I just want to touch on the gameplay mechanics because it sounds all very confusing, and for a while of playing, it took a while to get to grips with. So basically, it's a first-person shooter, turn-based strategy game.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a mouthful. It's not the best way to sell it, but like you are in competition with another team, and it's 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. So if it's 1v1, you get to make all your decisions for your team. If it's 2v2, you work with someone else. But the main premise is there is certain objectives to complete depending on what mode you do. So there's one where you have to destroy these resistors. There's another where you have to collect this exotic matter and drop it off at a certain point. But what happens is there are 2 rounds. Each round consists of 5 of the same 25-second loops. So the first 25 seconds, you go off and do whatever you want to do, and then it goes to the next person, and then they join in that same 25-second loop. So when they start playing, they will see whatever you've done in your 25 seconds, and they could choose to shoot you or choose to destroy one of the resistors or whatever. Then after theirs, it goes back to you, and you play alongside your ghost or character from the first round doing what they're doing, along with the person that's doing that they're doing on the other end, and you can then join in and do that. That repeats 5 times. So basically, it ends up being like a 5-on-5, but with 4 already preordained 25-second loops. Get me? No. Exactly.
No, not at all.
It's really complex. And like, a lot of people have found it hard to try and explain what this is, because I'm currently trying to write the preview for it, but it's hard to not make it sound complicated.
Could it be summed up in a GIF, just like one GIF?
That GIF with the dog in the kitchen and everything's on fire. I was saying.
Oh, that one.
yeah. Everything's fine.
Yeah, but it's good. It is good, but it's too early to say really, because it's been pushed back. The release date has been pushed back.
You mean they used the beta for beta reasons and not as wow?
Yeah. No, I know.
Well, it would never catch on.
Whatever.
But the combat's smooth. There's like heroes, but they're called operatives. So like with your Apex Legends, I'll pick that game because I don't talk about any others. There's loads of different characters which all have a backstory and whatnot. They have special abilities. So do these operatives. Some have they've got a sniper rifle as a weapon or a grenade launcher. Some can slow down time as their ability. They can teleport. They can deploy turrets, and so there's a lot of tactical options of how you want to progress. It may sound simple just to go and shoot these resistors or shoot the opposition, but it's how you do it, and you can layer your choices on top of each other to kind of get that job done. So it will probably be better watching gameplay as opposed to reading any reviews. Apart from ours, of course.
But definitely read ours. Definitely read all of our coverage.
But it is early-ish stages. If it's been pushed back, it's not quite ready, but it does feel good to play. But that's Lemnis Gate. Blightbound. Sorry, just checking the document.
Blightbound.
I literally saw the light on your screen change to white where you're looking at the Google Doc. Where you're like,
I was just
is he playing a game? Do I need to finish?
I wasn't sure if it's Blightworld or Blightbound, but I had to check.
Blightbound.
So it's good, but it's a bit clunky. So if you've seen any of the trailers, which I know you have, because you asked if anyone wanted to review it, so you know,
good.
You know what it looks like. There's like a 80s cartoon aesthetic to the like a He-Man kind of visual to some of the cutscenes and whatnot. But it's published by Devolver, who at the minute ago are on a bit of a streak, and
5-year streak.
Well, yeah, like Midgard, this game would be better as a 3-piece, like online multiplayer, because you take the role of a sorcerer, like a healer, damage dealer, tank, and each one has different abilities, and they all work very well together when you're playing with other people. But you could play on your own with bots, but there's certain puzzles that you need to do, or that require like all three of you to kind of stand on the one spot, like different spots, sorry. And trying to get bots to do that is awkward, or trying to get them to move around is a pain in the arse. But you basically go into dungeons, complete your missions, collect loot, come back out, spend stuff in the shops. It's like a nice repetition to it, but it's quite clunky in the mechanics, and especially if you're not playing with other people, it's certainly not worth really giving it a go.
Do you find it's clunky if you're playing with randoms?
I think it's more in terms of how it feels to play yourself, because the kind of different abilities are good. Like you've got for the sorcerer, you've got like you can fire your wand, stick,
staff,
pole, staff,
pole, fire your range. Pole.
No, tired.
Because I did the prologue where you basically test out the tutorial. Sorry, not the prologue.
Yeah,
the tutorial where you basically it's almost a single player, isn't it? But you're trialing out all three of the roles,
which would be amazing if they did have that.
It's a bit like the vibe I got was trying, but I found because you do the ranger first, then the warrior, then the mage, right? I found the mage the easiest to control and the easiest to get to grips with by a country mile. I found the ranger a bit confusing. The warrior is just like, hacking at things. That's fairly straightforward. But I found the mage quite an interesting one. But I've only done the tutorial. I didn't know, like you say, because I didn't know whether you could play it solo. Because I got the vibe you had to play with 3, which sounds like you do, but obviously they do it with bots.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not a lot of people playing it, which doesn't help.
Yeah.
But if you want to play like us 3 going on and doing it, would be a lot better, and I'll probably get a lot more out of it.
I've got it installed, ready to go. Just
shotgun mage. Just saying.
Yeah, you can have a mage. I don't want a mage.
I like playing as a mage, but I'm never usually
over him. You two.
A mage. I'll go with a big bulky dude. But that's all right. It's all right.
At the back, bit of tank at the back.
Yeah. It looks good as well. I just hope it kind of doesn't lose that momentum at the minute, because I'm not massively in love with it. So I am massively in love with Flight Simulator.
Okay.
Out
now, Xbox Series X and S.
Mate, like, I don't want to big it up too much, because I've only 3 or 4 hours into it. I know it's not really a story to it, but there's.
Imagine if there was, though.
Imagine if there was. That'd be amazing.
Flight Simulator 2.
Yeah,
but the stories are the ones you create along the way.
Yeah. But that is it.
True.
Like, if anyone's playing this and doesn't go to their house first, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, it depends where you live. It depends where you live. In fairness, they have updated it a lot since it came out.
It looks amazing. Like, I took off from East Midlands Airport and instantly just flew over
north. Nothing. It's all right. Don't worry about it. It's a joke for Chris Hyde and only him. It's fine.
Okay,
it's how I call him Northern all the time. But how Chris sounds Northern. Chris White. Fucking.
Well, he's more Northern than me.
Oh, God, it's not Northern at all.
Yeah. All right, that's all right. Admittedly, that's more Northern sounding. But to me, you sound very Northern, whereas Chris Hyde sounds like he could be next door.
But I'm literally banging.
It's because I talk properly. I use the Queen's English, not like Chris.
No.
Let's not. You Flight Simulator.
I can tell you were tired, mate. You were like...
Yeah, well...
yeah.
Anyway, so I crashed into Asda.
The dream.
10 out of 10.
Yeah,
trying to get to my house.
Yeah.
But the controls,
this image of Chris running out of a Asda with a load of bag of Jaffa cakes on his shoulder, like to his biplane.
Yeah, just taking off.
Let's fuck off up north, love.
I wish I could land, but I really can't. But like, everywhere like that's near like place I used to live when I was younger called Borrowash. little village. Like I managed to fly over that, and it's not like some locations, like you say, aren't as good as others. But like you can still pick out certain places. Like it's much better on the Xbox.
We could all do like a multiplayer thing and crash into Chris Hyde's house.
You could. You have to pick which wing because it's quite a big place. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, I'll go East Wing.
Yeah.
I'll try and catch him on the loo.
Throne room.
Try and catch him on the
It
loo.
is it is. I'm joking. I must admit, my experience with it back then was one of frustration because no matter what I did, I couldn't get the fucking thing to work properly on the computer. No matter what I tried, I tried like it was like it was some. I don't know if it was some component in my PC was messing with it.
Yeah, because and the thing so I'm guessing it works with a controller because we had this conversation when we were playing it on PC.
Yeah.
It does.
No, but we tried to play it on controller through the PC. Do you remember? And I was like, hang on.
Yeah.
I can't do that action. The only way I can do that is to use the keyboard. Like, there's no combination of things that's going to make me... And in the tutorial, when it's like, now do this. And I couldn't, so I kind of want to use...
It's mapped really well, to be fair.
Yeah, good.
And, like, just turning in... Like, there are certain, like... If you turn too fast, you're going to end up nosediving. So you have to be really sensitive of how you do it. But there's like a really hefty tutorial that goes into detail on the basics and then kind of fine-tuning those mechanics in the air and stuff. So if you're willing to spend a bit of time doing that, then when you finally get out, and there's like a bit where you can go and explore some of the wonders of the world. There's a free fly where you can literally pick an airport to travel from and to go to. Like, it's just a very ambitious game, and I really enjoy that. Like,
do you think of it as a game? I know I don't want to have that chat because I know it's such a weird thing because I feel like I felt like I won't be into this, and yet I was so frustrated I couldn't get it to work properly. And like I'm really looking forward to sitting down and, like you say,
what you said. You mentioned about your experiences with Google Earth, like
VR, Google Earth VR. Yeah,
Google Earth. I'm finding that now. Like it's wonderful, and it's
that
like,
feeling of the world's bigger than me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can go and see whatever you want. Like, you're flying over Africa and you can see like the animals running below you. It's just nuts. Like, there's a lot of detail in the more kind of famous places in the world. Yeah, like you could go to Vegas, you go to New York, flying around London's nuts.
To expect them to truly one-to-one model the entire world is unrealistic.
Precisely.
And like even Google don't do that. Like Google
Earth,
I can get to my house, but not right up to it. Not because it's the Google car just drove down the road, turned around, and fucked off again. Like, and that's what they do to most places. They're not getting out and going, oh, we need all the 360.
But it's,
and that's fine.
It's
I don't
an incredible
expect anymore.
Achievement, I think, and like it'll be nice to see how this is used going forward.
Well, what they've been doing is adding to it. So like they have been adding, new areas, not new areas, because everything's mapped. Like the world is the world, but they are adding more detail to specific areas. Helicopters are coming next year, apparently.
You got the Top Gun thing as well, which is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting thing to see doing this well.
Yeah, no, it is. But I think it is the grandeur of it, and like the fact that you are completely free as a bird to just go wherever you want and do what you want, and it's just a nice a way of escapism for people that can't do that. I don't know, you just sat in front of a screen and you're experiencing like what it's like to fly over Chile. I
mean, if I was Microsoft, I'd have tried to get this out when people literally couldn't go anywhere.
I mean, it would have been perfect, yeah. But like, it looks great on the S. I'm looking forward to see it on the X. But like, it's on Game Pass, and it's not a throwaway title. This is one of the big Xbox Series X.
Well, it's their 6 in 6 months one, isn't it?
Precisely. Yeah. So I would implore people to go out, download it. I mean, it's a beast.
Yeah, 100 gig. Then there's another update.
I downloaded it overnight, 97 gig, and then I went to play it, and there was another 27 gig update.
Of course there was.
That's the thing that is only I find slightly disappointing, is that it is essentially a PC game in that you load the client and then it updates it.
Yes, and it really does take the piss when you you finally downloaded that update. So you've got 120 gig in your library, and then you press play, and then it then has to update everything.
Because what's the capacity of the S again?
Oh, the S is
500.
Yeah,
is
it? I thought it was 250.
I was say 250.
No, I've had
500. Okay.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure it's 500.
Still a fair chunk of that, though, isn't it?
Well, I mean,
Quarter of it.
it's mental. But yeah, no, Flight Simulator. I'm looking forward to just
Keep
travel
going,
more.
but
I really want to do a full flight. I really want to do like a 16-hour flight around the world. That's never going to happen. But the fact that you can do that is mental to me.
Yeah,
if you're really into this game and you want to make that flight for whatever reason, you can. And if you want to, you can fast forward time as well. So you do it at 4 times the speed. So, which is another good idea. But yeah, Flight Simulator is cool. But the big game, which I've reviewed, is Neo: The World Ends With You, which is beautiful, lovely game. Really enjoyed it. I played the preview, wrote about that. It was only like the first couple of days, I think it was, because obviously the game itself takes place in it's kind of like in limbo between life and death, and this thing called the Reaper's Game has you team up with your friend to complete these objectives and fight this thing called the Noise, which is like the enemy. And there's a hell of a lot to it. Like it's kind of Persona-y.
Shibuya.
It's kind of, but like it's kind of a lot more. I feel like a lot more streamlined, and I don't want to say cooler because I don't think that's fair, like to Persona, but it's kind of a bit more youth-minded. Like it's more kind of the dialogue that they use. It's like for the Persona for the TikTok generation.
Mate, that's not selling it at all.
No, I know it isn't. But
You're
what I'm
making me
trying to
wanna
say is I'm an
burn
old
it
fucker, and I'm not connected with it like maybe I would if I was a bit younger.
Okay.
But like
You're not hip
the
and cool
combat,
enough and rad.
I'm not cool or rad or wicked or sick or peak.
Down with the shit.
Peak,
Pang.
pang, hench, whatever you want to say. Anyway, the combat is one of the game's biggest selling points, and it uses something where these abilities to use in combat are found by acquiring pins, which are like essentially certain abilities. Some you can like use fire, you can use like psychokinesis, not like in Scarlet Nexus, but you basically acquire these pins from defeating enemies. You can buy them in shops, and you can equip them to one of your 4 party members. And in combat, all you need to do to use your ability is press one button. So it's very streamlined, but there's a lot of kind of things to it. So you can press square to fire off like your missiles, whilst pressing L2 will use fire to torch someone. All enemies have weaknesses to certain affinities. There's all the little things that they've thrown in so that if your enemy takes a lot of damage, at a certain point, if you use another kind of attack at the right moment, it'll do even more damage and then build up this gauge where you can activate to like just destroy it in a lot of shorter time. So there's kind of a lot to the combat in it, and just, I mean, it's just great. I don't know if you've got any questions. Like,
Well, I really want to play it. I'm just worried about the length, which is another podcast title, I suppose. I'm still playing Monster Hunter Stories 2. I'm still playing lots of games.
Yeah,
that
it's
have
a
got
long
lots
game.
of hours in them, and
there's
it's
a
like
lot to collect. Like,
and the thing is, I feel like if I start this, it'll be one too many. And it's there, it's installed, it's ready. I do want to play it because
I mean,
it's just
it is quite long. But like,
it seems mad at the moment with games, man. Like it just seems like it's too early for this. Like Madden's not out yet, and that's the klaxon usually for games going crazy, and we're well ahead of schedule. And I don't know why. It just seems ridiculous at the moment.
Considering we said this would be like a quieter year, I just feel
Doesn't
like
feel quiet right now.
No, it feels like there's lots of good and sometimes quite meaty games to try and.
That's the thing.
I
will say special mention for the fact that I love the shortened version of this name's game. Neo Twewy. I love that. I love that so much. It just does me right. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, it's one of those where I don't know what to ask about it because everything you said in the review and everything that's shown in the video, it's like
there isn't really anything more I can say. Like it sums it up the best because I've literally tried to focus on every single element
at once
to it.
Yeah,
because there is a lot. Like there's that each kind of character has a certain psych ability, like time travel. Another one can read people's memories and imprint like their thoughts into them. There's another one where you can dive into people's heads and then fight their their affliction. So some people might show like a red fiery outline on their bodies, and they might be suffering with like a problem. And then you can dive into their heads and fight the enemies which exist within them, and then free them of that. So that's another ability. There's a lot of shopping. You can go for something to eat if you fancy it, and that in turn will permanently level up characters and certain abilities. The soundtrack is insane. Like, it is incredible. Like, one of the better soundtracks of recent memory. It just looks good. It's very stylish. I mean, it's if you like the first one, it's a beautiful step up. And it's like the battle's obviously in 3D now. And the world of Shibuya, it's incredibly youthful and vibrant. Word very much like visceral, which I hate to use, but it's sometimes it's hard to use another word, and I think that sums it up really well.
Well, maybe our viewers or listeners will have some questions, and we can get to those in the sort of live segment. If not, we've got a load of listener correspondence, so I'm happy to go for it if you are.
Let's do it.
There's 4 questions here from Fail in our Discord. If you had unlimited budget this year, what collector's edition or limited edition would you buy? For me, I can only think of one. It's Metroid Dread.
Yeah,
and that's only because it's gone and I can't get it. If you know what I mean.
Mick wants us to keep talking about collector's editions. I feel on every pod.
Yes.
keep going. I don't really buy collector's editions. No, the Metro wouldn't look good, and it went within bloody seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I do struggle with this because I'm not. It's never. I know there's some of our patrons that do buy them and look out for them, but I tend to not be that person, so I'm not as close to.
I get them, but only very late. Like, there's never one I'm like, oh, I must have that.
Yeah.
It's more a case of, oh, that looks nice. Oh, tough.
Yeah. Hypothetically, I guess, right. I would like Alien Fireteam one.
Yeah.
Because I really want a big old alien statue. Or FIFA. If FIFA did collector's editions and had the cover styles, but like
a chock-off Mbappe model.
I would love an Mbappe. Yeah, I think it like really
if you got like Mbappe on loan in real life for a couple of weeks for your local team,
you might suddenly think, it's actually worth the money that they're
charging. A lot more than £90.
Yeah, for Derby, save us. But no, like, yeah, I don't.
I'd say Halo, right? Because back in the day, that kind of used to be such a big event. I want that again, like Halo. You remember there was the one that was like the actual Master Chief helmet, and there were other ones as well. And like, I kind of would love that to somehow come back around, and like, I'd love them to do like this mental sort of special edition for Halo that would be really cool. I mean, I wouldn't buy it because I like Halo, but not enough. But if I had unlimited budget, I would. Okay, what brand or IP or game getting a Warriors-style game would make you finally play the genre properly? Now, I think this is aimed at me, isn't it?
It's got to be aimed at you.
But I don't think there is one.
Answer.
Because no. Chris did Persona 5 Strikers, and you like them anyway.
Yeah, I like... I'm not a massive fan, but I do, like I've said to you before, and you've gone, really? Like, I do find, like, just...
Yeah, but the more I got to know you, the more it makes sense that you'd like this kind of game.
Yeah, I really liked the first Hyrule Warriors. I played the demo of the more recent one and just didn't have time to actually play the main game, but I enjoyed it. And I think, if I'm going to pick a blooming IP, Zelda would be up there. Yeah, Zelda would be up there. Have you not played it yet? Is it still...
Nope, not even played the demo.
So I kind of feel like if Zelda's not going to
that's
make
exactly
you,
the thing.
I don't quite know what else...
Persona nearly. I did put some hours into that, but not enough. And it still... I think it's because one of my favourite genres is the hack and slash genre. So then to make it like where it's just like button mashing, which is not what... Don't hate on... Just trust. It's fine. There's nothing. I don't think there's a... It's like you say, if Zelda couldn't do it.
Yeah, because it's got to be someone with a weapon, right? Otherwise, you're not going to have Mario just kicking a load of goons.
I was going to say Mario, but I wouldn't want
I
that.
saw something on Twitter, which I won't take credit for this, but they said in a WWE game in the style of Warriors,
just the royalist of rumbles.
I genuinely think like that would work. I would certainly play that.
I mean, where do you go from there? After Skyward Sword's HD quality of life stuff, which Zelda game would you like to see get the same treatment?
Ocarina.
Okay, carry on.
Ocarina. That's what I want.
Oh, what quality of life? What would you change?
Don't know. Everything. I don't know. I was just an answer. I
don't okay, right. Sorry,
mate.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not a massive Zelda fan. I'm just trying to get involved.
I know a game, Ocarina. I was thinking about this because quite a few of them have had the HD treatment, haven't they? I reckon one that hasn't, it might be crap to do this, so it might not work. But I was thinking if they did Phantom Hourglass and found a way to stop all of that drawing on the map to make the ship go, and found a way to make the going back to that temple bit every time and retracing steps a bit more engaging and less pain in the ass. If they found a way to do that, like they have with some of the Skyward Sword stuff, that's
the one with trains?
Spirit Tracks.
The same sort of deal, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that would be mine if they could.
What was the one with tracks? The one with literally got tracks in the title, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah. So that would be mine if they did Phantom Hourglass. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I quite like Twilight Princess now, because it was similar in terms of like in that era. I was just not into that motion stuff, and it just made me not play games a lot. I would be well up for a same sort of thing, because I think maybe I should give that game another go, and I will, because they will do it. They will.
Oh, that's a good game. They're all good.
What game are you looking forward to in August? And if you go to godisageek.com, you will see a video game release dates thing as written by Chris Hyde. Here's the list of August. In Sound Mind, Godfall is coming to PS4.
No.
No. Well, I'll just fill it in. Oh no! Right. Well, I'll answer the question. I'm sure he'll be back. He'll be back soon. So there's a few games coming in August that I think are going to be pretty meaty.
I'm still here.
I really like the look of that 12 minutes game.
Yeah. I think it looks fucking top notch.
Yeah, that looks good. I think that'll be really interesting.
Is it Daisy Ridley and James McAvoy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great cast, and I just got a feeling that that's going to be really interesting to play.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I would have said Kenner, but it's bumped now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So me personally, King's Bounty 2. I know no one else cares about that from this watching this pod. I played the preview. I really like that, so I'm really looking forward to seeing when that comes out.
He's back.
I never went.
No. We were covering it. It was fine.
No, but I never went. Even the people in the stream are saying I've been here the whole time. I never went. Like, for people who are wondering what happened, apparently I vanished from the Christopher's world for a moment.
You literally went, right, from our perspective, you literally said, go to God's... This article is written by Chris, and then you stopped. And I was like...
I promise you that won't be that
like,
well...
Oh, who is it written by? Which one of us wrote it?
But the thing is I'm the one producing it, so if I lost my internet, you were just then podcasting it to nobody.
Wow, that's how professional we are.
I'm well impressed. Going. So how far did you get to? Because I was panicking.
About 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
And then commented on Kenner being...
Kenner has been delayed to September. I think it's probably what
brought Chris was talking about King's Bounty.
And that's where we got to. So I think that one's for me. I'll save some of the others for you guys, but they're the ones for me.
I mean, mine's probably... I mean, you could all probably guess mine, right?
Yeah, Madden.
Yeah, you got it. It's Psychonauts 2 for me.
Yeah. I can't wait to play that.
But
I think it's awesome.
I have seen some footage of No More Heroes 3 now that looks actually decent. And I think my genuine answer, I think I know Psychonauts 2 is going to be it's perfect for me. And same for Chris. Like, I think all of us, actually, it's our kind of game. So I think it's an obvious answer. But the other answer I would give would be... It would be Aliens Fireteam Elite, but the trouble is with that is that nobody knows how that game's going to be, because it's a new studio, or it's a studio that's been sold and done this with, like, we've never seen a game by that studio before. So, like, and we like, Aliens games definitely can go one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But I really hope that's good.
Yeah, it depends how they do it. Because what was it called? Was it Colonial Marines?
Colonial Marines.
Colonial Marines, yeah.
Colonial, which was awful.
Well, that's the one that had lawsuits and shit around it and everything.
Yeah. But then we've had Isolation and we've had Alien vs Predator was a lot of fun multiplayer. Like, if it's done right.
Well, that's the thing. They just have to get the shooting right and make it look decent. And I think our expectations are that low these days for an Aliens game that that'd be enough. Yeah. Just doing Aliens Back for Blood and that's fine.
So there's plenty to
There's a lot to look forward to in August.
And if you say that there isn't, then you're a twat, to be honest.
Yeah,
because
basically,
it's the official word.
Yeah.
That's fair. McPoo from Discord also says, which mode of transport should Asobo make an incredibly detailed simulator about next? Obviously, they're the people behind Flight Simulator. I'd be surprised if there was anything left to do, because there's lawnmower simulator, job simulator, there's everything now. What's not been done?
Unicycle simulator, penny farthing. Simulator.
I bet they've both been done.
Is prostitute a mode of transport?
Yeah, bicycle. Yeah, I'll say so. Yeah.
Okay.
You asked. I was trying to think of something that hasn't been done.
Fucking hell.
I've never done one. So.
No, that's the answer to that question.
Yeah.
He also asks, which video game would you like to see a limited edition amiibo for, and what gameplay function would you like it to have? Doesn't have to be on a Nintendo console either. Go wild.
Tony Hawk.
Right. And what does it do?
His skateboard. Performing his 720, is it?
What does it do when you know?
Don't know. Whatever you want it to do.
Well, no. What do you want it to have?
Mate, I don't own any amiibos.
He just wants to have an answer. We've had this with Zelda.
I just want to feel a part of some of these questions.
Just let him give an answer.
Aren't aimed at me because I don't really.
Right.
I'm just trying, all right?
I've got one, but it's a left field. So you go, Chris.
Well, I'm going to say that I don't actually want an amiibo that's got a gameplay function particularly. Do you know what? I don't actually like these ones that give you that completely change a game, like the whole Skyward Sword jobby.
Don't fucking use them then. Have some.
No, I won't. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to go. Which would I like?
Was asked, didn't it?
Yeah. The question was what gameplay function. I don't really want. What the ones I like are like in Monster Hunter Rise, where you just get some free stuff a day in the shop. It doesn't really make much of a difference, but it's a nice little thing. That's cool. I'd much rather have the amiibo and it's nice on my shelf, as I'm sure you can attest to, Mr. Cook. So for me, I was struggling, but I think
encroached into the lounge now. By the way,
have they the overflow?
It's definitely been noticed, but not commented upon just yet.
So it's one of those things that they say behind your back.
There's one either side of the Switch, and they're kind of like, well, they're the games I'm playing at the moment, or was playing at that moment.
So what's on there at the moment?
It's the Monster Hunter 2 amiibo, and it was the Loftwing. Yeah. So they're the ones I'm playing. And they're just sat there, and nothing's been said.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there.
Speaking of Monster Hunter, that's put a thought in my head actually, because they're doing that Okami Amaterasu.
They're doing the
crossover. Okami.
No, I thought Amaterasu. That's what you said.
Yeah.
No, they got the name right. What did you say the game was called?
Okami.
No way. That is not one I can be wrong on. Chris?
Okami.
Thank you. Fucking hell. It can't be. I can't even remember what you said there.
It literally says Okami at the start of the game.
Not English. No, they got it wrong in the game. This is the same as Final Fantasy VII, where they're saying Yuffie.
I'm not wrong on that.
No, that's like Square getting it wrong with Yuffie. It's Okami. It can't be Okami.
No,
it can't be.
You've literally got it wrong because it tells you how to pronounce it at the start of the game.
There's errors in games.
Okami. That's literally what it does.
No, it's just a pronunciation thing. You're being
it is a pronunciation thing. You're getting it wrong.
So anyway, you're being terribly racist.
I'm being racist. So anyway, Amaterasu, which I don't even know if that's how you pronounce that, but let's not have an argument about that.
I will say, right, when they announced that, which I think is what you're getting to, I must admit, I thought the name was Amarat. No, hang on. It is actually Amaterasu.
Amaterasu, yeah.
I always thought it was Amaratsu. I've never played Okami.
Oh, wow.
I know. I own it on about as many
20 different things.
Yeah, but I've never actually played it because every time I thought, everyone says this is basically Zelda, and I'm like, but then something's come up.
Mm.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, so I'd like an Amaterasu amiibo.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing. That would be nice.
What would it do though?
It would do nothing because I just said I don't want that.
Is literally, but you can't. The question is, what function would you like it to have? And your answer's none.
Yeah, and I've explained my reasons.
I want the
Fine.
function to look nice on my shelf.
Yeah, and to slowly encroach on my family's mantelpiece like you're doing.
Right. Hey, listen, chill. I would have a Master Chief one, right? And it would be incredibly rare, like the rarest of the rare. But if you could find it, every time you docked it, if you will, you get 12 months of Game Pass Ultimate. That's why it's rare. There's like it's a bit, you know, those things in crisps where you like find the golden crisp and you get, it's basically like you find the Master Chief amiibo and it's like 12 months ago.
When you used to get like 27p off a bag of crisps. Those little sachet things.
Did you ever get any money in them?
No
I
one's
always got a
found
£5.
Well, I was weird, man. Yeah,
I've got this little...
The ones that are like golden crisps, wouldn't that break your teeth? The crisps are yellow anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be careful, aren't you?
Well, I think so. I mean, I don't... You know, do you guys really study the crisps? Like, I was in a Costa yesterday, in fact, as we record this, and I had my sandwich, egg mayo, for those wondering.
Oh,
and,
you dirty bastard.
Absolute filth.
Sorry.
Oh.
And anyway, then I had me salt vinegar crisps. And I literally just was sort of...
We won't talk about crisps.
Phone, not today. Phone. Eating crisps, staring in the distance, and I was like, fucking hell, and it was absolutely massive. Because it was like a... And I wasn't looking at what I was eating, so it was just like... and it must have looked at an absolute picture. Like, yeah.
I think
it's probably on YouTube now. Fat man eating crisps or something like.
Yeah, just been filmed.
Fat man surprised by crisps.
Yeah, if I was eating a bag of crisps where they said there could be a golden crisp in this bag, I would pay more attention than not.
Yeah.
How much? I'm not sure this is grammatically correct. How much crisps do you eat?
How many? I don't know.
Like?
Whatever. A lot.
So you're telling me if you had like a 24 pack of crisps for the family?
Yeah,
yeah. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
it's an audio medium as well, but I'm doing inverted commas. You know, floaty commas. So you're saying you have a 24 pack of, let's say, Walkers, or the other brands are available, and we are available for sponsorships for Walkers or Lay's or Golden Wonder or Pringles. Crisp manufacturers, hit me up. But anyway, you've got a 24 pack of them, and it's one of these multi packs, and it's like there's a golden crisp in one bag out of 1 million. So any one of those 24 bags could, probably hasn't, but could. You're genuinely telling me that every single pack of them crisps, you're like,
yeah, because if there's a 24-pack multi-pack, it's one of those smaller bags. That's
to be fair, mate. Yeah, it wouldn't take long to look.
You open the bag, look at it, and go, they're all crisps.
So with the smaller multi-packs, you don't just go open like it's a drink.
Well, I wouldn't if it might be gold in it, because I'd give myself, a second to look in before I inhaled gold.
I thought you were more committed to crispery than you are, and it's a disappointing and distressing way to finish a podcast.
Well, I hope you choke on a gold crisp.
Well, they don't do it at the moment, are they?
I don't even know why we're arguing. They don't. No, we're discussing it.
That's probably why they didn't do it. A child probably choked on a crisp, and you're making fun of that.
God, you two are like Jesus.
We're like Jesus. That's cheers, mate.
I'd look good on a steak.
Go on.
Pardon? What did you say?
You two have been.
I thought you said, why don't you two just fuck?
This is what happens when we play the Ascent together. This is what happens.
Maybe you should, and then you relieve all that tension.
Postman or letterbox. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast, because I think Chris has lost his marbles, and is probably hungry. Or what's the phrase? You're hangry. No, what is it? What's the phrase? The Snickers advert?
If you're angry and hungry, you're hangry. Yeah.
That's crap. But I can hear.
I mean, that's what the saying is.
A female voice, which suggests that Chris is about to get a pasty in his face.
That's not a euphemism.
No, it is. It is a euphemism.
Barkins. Crazy here.
Yep. It sounds like your dinner has arrived, which means it is time to finish this podcast and say thank you very much for being here. It was a bit crazy this week. Apologies for the technical issues. I did discover what it was quite early on. It's all solved now. It's all fixed now, which is... Yeah, in fact, you'll never know it wasn't fixed because it was only me that was having the echo. So, that's good. But thank you very much for being here for this podcast. Chris and Mick. No, you're not Mick. Chris and Chris. Chris and Chris, thanks for being here. Hi, Chris's.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris's dog. And to everybody else, we will speak to you next week or whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye for now.